Do binaural beats actually work? You put on headphones and you play two slightly different tones, one in each ear, and the claim is that your brainwaves sync up and you focus harder or you stress less. There are millions of these tracks online promising calm, focus, sleep, sometimes a gamma boost. I'm not sure what that means. So I went and read the studies, including the big meta-analysis, and the honest answer surprised me. It's more positive than I expected to find out, and not for the reasons that the marketing says. So here's the trick at the center of it all, literally. You play a 200 hertz tone in your left ear and the 210 in your right ear, and your ears both hear the tone that's being played, but your brain hears a third thing that's not in the room at all. It's a slow 10 hertz pulse. It's the difference between the two, and that pulse exists only inside your head. It's manufactured by the brainstem stitching the two signals together. If you take the headphones off, it vanishes because it was never sound in the air. It was only sound perceived by your brain. That's a binaural beat, and the whole wellness industry, the focus tracks, the sleep tracks, the study with me videos, it's built on one big bet about what that phantom pulse does next. Now, the bet is called entrainment. It's the idea that if you feed your brain this 10 hertz beat, your brain waves will fall into step and start firing at 10 hertz too, which happens to be a calm, relaxed rhythm. If you play a faster beat, you get a sharper, more alert brain. You play a slower one, you drift towards sleep. It is a clean, almost directly mechanical story. If you tune the beat, you tune the brain. And you can see why it's everywhere because it sounds like a volume knob for your own head. So this is the problem that cleaner mechanical expectations have, is that the more direct they sound, the more you should probably check into if it actually works like that. So let me show you what the research found, because it's not exactly supporting the mechanism the way that a lot of people claim. In 2019, Garcia-Argibay and his colleagues pulled together 22 studies on binaural beats. There were 35 separate effect sizes, and they covered memory, attention, anxiety, physical pain. This is the closest thing the field has to a verdict, and overall they found a real effect. Hedges G of about 0.45. In plain terms, that's a medium effect. It's the kind of result that you can't wave away as noise, and so far this is good news for the believers. But then you split it apart, and it gets interesting, because for anxiety, the effect was the strongest in the whole analysis. Beats in the slow, theta, and delta range pulled anxiety down with a G of about 0.69. This is a medium to large range. People listening before a stressful task reported feeling meaningfully calmer. And the analysis found something specific about the timing. Listening before the task, or before and during, worked better than listening only while the task was happening. The catch is that anxiety result rests on a handful of these studies, 4 or 5 of them, and about 159 people in total. That's a pretty thin floor to stand such a strong claim on. Then look at attention and memory and the focus claims, and the thing that most people actually buy these tracks for. The effects there shrank, and they came to about a G of 0.32, and memory about 0.22, small. And the 2021 Robinson and his team ran a carefully well-powered research test, specifically to check the attention claim. They found that rather strong evidence against the attention claim. There wasn't a reliable boost to sustained attention at all. So the part with the best evidence is the calming part. The part everybody buys the tracks for, the focus, is the part that is wobbling hardest under direct scrutiny. So why does the calm show up while the focus does not? Here's where the marketing story cracks. Remember entrainment, the idea that your brainwaves lock onto the beat like gears meshing? When researchers actually go looking for that lock in the EEG scans, the evidence is thin and it's inconsistent. Chaieb and colleagues reviewed this in 2015, and their conclusion was blunt. The effects on mood and cognition are plausible and partly real, but the brainwave syncing mechanism is rumored to be far more than is actually demonstrated. So picture it less like gears meshing and more like background music in a waiting room. The sound doesn't reprogram your brain's rhythm, but it gives an anxious mind a steady, low, predictable thing to settle onto. The way that a fan or a rain sound, that fits the data perfectly. A steady drone is a great thing at taking the edge off high arousal, which is why the anxiety effects are the most robust. It's not nearly as good as sharpening a specific cognitive skill, which is why the focus effect keeps slipping through researchers' fingers. The calm is real. The reason for it is probably not the reason on the label. Now, the one catch that matters most, and this is the big one, that headline number, the medium effect of 0.45, sits on top of a pile of very small studies that all disagree with each other. The samples are tiny, often a few dozen people. The frequencies, the exposure times, the tasks that people are doing, they're all over the map from study to study, which makes a clean meta-analysis of the data partly a mirage. And the strongest single attempt to replicate the focus claim came back negative. So the evidence is genuinely split, and it splits by what you're asking the beats to do. So where does that leave us? On the evidence, binaural beats are split. A B- for anxiety, a D for focus and attention. The calming effect is real. It's modest, and it probably comes from soothing arousal rather than from any kind of brainwave syncing. The make you focus promise is mostly unsupported, and the cleanest replication actually argues against that claim. So if you like binaural beats before something stressful, a presentation, a flight, a hard conversation, by all means keep using them. The evidence is actually on your side, and a calm and steady drone in your ears is a cheap and harmless tool. Just know that what's helping you is most likely the soothing sound and not a frequency reprogramming your brain, which means plain rain or a fan might do the same job for you for free. And if you bought these tracks to lock in and focus, the research does not have your back yet. That is the honest line on this one. If you think about how sound shapes the way people feel and work in a space, that's the work that I do at danielchristopherfox.com. And if you like me to break more of these studies down on how music affects people and the way that they behave, subscribe and I'll see you soon.